I say then, has God cast away his people? A more literal translation, may it never be. Has God cast away his people? Now we have to remember that the Apostle Paul is writing the book of Romans after the rending of the veil in the temple, after God put to an end all Old Testament sacrifices. Paul shortly is going to be martyred for his faith, and he's asking the question, is God done with the nation of Israel? He says, absolutely not. Here's proof number one. Paul says, for I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Paul says, here's Exhibit A. I am standing before you as a Jewish believer, descendant of Abraham, as he tells us in Philippians chapter 3, a Hebrew of the Hebrews. Now, you might ask the question, well, how does Paul actually rate as an exhibit of what God's going to do with Israel? Because Paul is an apostle to the Gentiles and a member of the church. There's a couple of things that I think will help us to understand that. In 1 Corinthians 15:8, Paul made a strange statement. He talks about the other apostles, and then he says, and then to me, an apostle born out of due time. Have you read that? For many years, I thought that the other apostles were all around the Lord Jesus, and he was kind of a guy that got born too late. The word ektoma is actually a word in the Greek that means to be a premature birth. In other words, a birth which is incapable of sustaining its own life. Not one born too late, but one born too early. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Well, if we go to 1 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 15, he makes another statement. He says, I obtained mercy so that in me first, not last, in me first, Jesus Christ might show all long-suffering as a pattern to those who are going to believe for everlasting life, that I might be a pattern. You all know, of course, how the Apostle Paul was saved. He was riding on a donkey on his way to Damascus. The Lord appeared to him, knocked him off his donkey, blinded him. He finally comes around as the prophet comes to him and helps him receive his sight, spends 3 years in the wilderness and comes back out and begins evangelizing and doing his missionary work. Is that kind of a good pattern of how you came to Christ? I don't think so. I mean, that's pretty supernatural. Certainly there are parallels. Who is Paul actually a pattern of? I would suggest to you that the Apostle Paul is a pattern of the 144,000 Jews whose eyes are all going to be opened at one time, recorded in Revelation 7, verses 1 to 8, that I would be a pattern of the conversion of the nation of Israel. Paul is exhibit number one.